So I'm working on Son of Chroma, and I've got a package that just came in, and it's a care package from GameDS. I'm a little excited to see what it is. Now, if some of you are new to my channel, then it's important to know that I love budget stuff. GameDS is the example to me of what a lot of these budget companies should be. So when they send something or they have something new, or I see them really trying, they really take feedback, they do everything just as best as they can, I think sometimes, and really try to grow off of some of the failures or mistakes they've had. And I've been very clear on what I thought was failures and mistakes of theirs. While not everybody shares my opinion, that's just a thing. That's a little bit about me. I like budget companies that care and really want to do something better. They announce some new stuff, and I'm kind of hoping to see maybe one of their new keyboards in here or something like that. That would be great. So we'll go ahead without further ado, and I'll use my very dull knife, and we'll cut into this box, find out what we might be looking at. Oh, a piece of cardboard. Very nice. The Hebe M1, and if I recall, this is their kind of flagship headset. I think it MSRP is around 70 bucks, which is a little high, but we see some quality stuff even through the box here. Hebe M1. Oh, hooray. This is cool. I've been saying for a minute that GameDS really needs to come out with a TKL keyboard, and I heard that at Computex, I think, along with their new gaming chair series that's got RGB gaming chairs, they've announced a new line of keyboards, TKL. It's supposed to be one of their new, and it says 7 colors. That's hilarious. As we all know, as you watched my Hera video, we have 6 rows of lights. 7th color is typically white or off, according to research that I've done, but it's really a 6-light rainbow style. And we'll look more into that as we go. I believe they have one called the M3 that they're going to be releasing, which will be a TKL just like this, and it's going to be RGB. So if that's something you're interested in, that's cool. 87 key, lightweight and portable. We'll find out what kind of switches it uses, what it comes with, and we'll be able to take a really cool look at their new implementation as they enter the TKL keyboard arena. So anyways, guys, let's move into taking a look at Son of Chroma now. What's up, guys? It's Matt with 86 Gaming, and this is Son of Chroma. This is what I've been working on for a while now, and it's built with some specialized stuff. It's been built with a little bit of this, that, and the other, and I'll kind of cover some of that real quick, especially some of the setup. There are things I like about it, and there are definitely things I don't like about it. One of the problems that I really didn't like about it, for somebody that wants the one solution to RGB, you don't really have that here when you go for these budget parts. $35 for a 3-pack of fans that come with an independent controller, of which I found a better option by the same brand, actually, that has the remote. When I would have preferred the remote option, because if you watched, I don't really want to have to splice cable management and reroute a reset switch and have to do all that, but that's what I did do with this build. However, there is an option now where you have a controller and an infrared reader, and you can be able to change it. I'm sure some of you have probably seen this before, so that's kind of what it is. And of course, there's other options too, like going with NZXT air fans or using the Thermaltake ring fans, but then you're starting to look at spending almost double to triple what you want to spend. That's why we kind of wanted to go with this option. Not only do these look really good, they function well, and when you get them set up, they work pretty well too. Now, you're at limited options with them, but that's kind of just the setback. That's sort of the catch to the price. I just also think they look really nice. I think that they're good looking fans, they're bright, and I like to have the ability to control it with the reset button. But again, it doesn't really gel with everything else in here. Now we have these magnetic Fantex lights here at the bottom and right here at the top, as you can see. They talk to the ARA RGB on the motherboard itself. So whatever the motherboard's telling it via the software that you download off of the driver page, those are gonna work that way. While the CryoRig Edge 7 Quad Lumi actually uses CAM by NZXT. So here we are already at 3 different softwares, right? We've got RRGB, we've got CAM software, and we've got our own independent functioning one here. We get to 4 when we start to look at the G-Skill one. Now you're looking at 4 softwares to run just to try to get your RGB in tandem. That's the downside to it. I think the price overall, though, is worth it to me. And if that's something that doesn't bother you, then cool. Which I don't really like the cycle. This is like top speed cycling lights for these, and that's kind of slow to me. So we have our mass storage installed up here, the FireCuda hard drive, and it's a solid state hybrid drive. I got the small 2.5 version because I like 2.5 inch drives, especially if they can perform on par with the bigger 3.5 inch. We have the GeForce GTX 1050 Ti 4GB edition. At first I started having issues with it, but I corrected some driver problems and realized that's really what the problem I was having was some driver issues. Now we're operating great. I did some benchmarks. I only picked 2 games, a 1080p esports game like Rocket League, and in Rocket League we did great. Our FPS stayed high, everything was great, playing on the max graphics, and I was just thoroughly impressed with it. But I didn't expect not to be when it came to that. When it comes to AAA titles, I started thinking, okay, well, let's see if we can make this card suffer, and we'll do some AAA titles. We downloaded the Doom demo, and we played through some of that, and at first I started with kind of the presets of mediums and whatnot. It was sitting around 60 to 70 frames per second. Well, I decided, okay, let's go in and turn it all the way up to Ultra, turn off 8 times, and then we'll see if we get the same or similar result, and we did. It was absolutely awesome. It was a great experience. We turned it up to Ultra, and we were getting between 56 to about 77 frames per second while playing Doom. That's pretty cool, and that's pretty impressive for this card, especially if you buy it refurbished like I did. That's another thing. I need to touch on that too. A lot of people are afraid to buy refurbished or open box, but really, unless you're buying refurbished from Timmy up the street, you shouldn't be worrying about that too much. If it's certified refurbished by the factory, expect to get something just like new out of the box. So the main reason we went with the G-Skill Trident Z RGB is because, well, it's just pretty. And on top of that, it's only a few dollars more, or at least at the time I bought it. I haven't compared prices recently as other RAM that didn't have any lighting effects whatsoever. And for that little bit of difference, it's totally worth it to me. One thing I didn't like that I mentioned a little bit of too is the CryoRig H7 Quad Lumi. It's a little bit misleading to feel like it's an H7. The installation process was a little more difficult than installing an H7, but it's not impossible, it's not hard. It was just like, well, this isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. I thought we were taking the H7, putting some lights on it, and making it super sweet. It's still super sweet, it's just not as easy to install. Now the processor we're using is the 6500, and that's because I ordered a 6400T, and I think for about $130, $140, but what we ended up getting was that because they were out of stock on a 6400T. Now down below in this video and also in the last one, I actually looked up and saw the 7400T is way down in price right now. I recommend it. It's pretty lateral change between the two. You're looking at a lower TDP because it's more of a power-friendly, less power-consuming processor, but you're still looking at the power that you need that works in tandem with everything we put in here. We're not looking to blow things out of the water. We're looking to make a pretty sweet build that's going to last you a long time. And if you don't want to go with the Skylake purpose, because of course we have a Kaby Lake motherboard in there, the 250, and we went with a Skylake processor. And part of that was because I wanted to demonstrate to people that are skeptics or a little bit concerned about it, they're typically always going to work with the same generation socket. When they do a socket switch like this from 1151, all we did was go up to the Kaby Lake 7th gen, it still supports the 6th gen, and vice versa. If you're ever concerned about its ability to support on any motherboard manufacturer, any credible one, I don't know about ECS, you can go and take a look and you can see what processors are supported by the motherboard. There are some people that go to sites like Alibaba and they'll buy like old engineering samples that may not be supported, but if they are, hey, that's pretty cool. If it's not supported, then I would just recommend not buying it, of course. You can go check motherboard manufacturer sites for supported CPUs and they'll tell you what they will support. I did cite, I would go with the MP500 by Corsair because it's a really good price. It's almost so good of a price that it feels like it might be nearing EOL. So buy those up while you can. If that's something you're looking for, I'll probably grab one myself. Because for that price, you get a little bit more performance than we got out of that, which I also did crystal disc on. And you get a little bit more bang for your buck, I think, especially with a brand name like Corsair. I think it'd be a great option to have, and I would probably have gotten that over this Plextor one, but I didn't because I didn't see the price on it until after the fact. But that's definitely what I would have gone with instead of that Plextor one. On top of that, the MP500 just looks prettier. So we're going to take a look at a few other things real quick, and then we're pretty much done. That's it, Son of Chroma. I'm sure people want to see prices. I'll be able to show you what I spent on most of this, and you can kind of come to a conclusion if that's within a range or not. You can also trim the fat by cutting some of this out because it's not necessary to have everything we have in here to have a good PC. And I'll kind of build that option too if you're interested. If you want to see something like that, I'll make 2 links. One that's just kind of a bare bones dumbed down version of it, and one that has all of this. Let's end this video real quick taking a few shots of a few of the things I ran. I ran Heaven, I ran Valley, we played a couple games, nothing super fancy. I didn't really want to make this a benchmark video for GPUs of any variety whatsoever. So if you're watching this while you're in the shower or something, maybe hit pause and watch the rest later. Anyways, we're going to crank up the jams and just kind of run through some stuff. I hope you guys have a great day, night, whatever it is. I'll see you in the next video that I do. remember, if you can save money by doing something differently that I did that you didn't like or would change yourself, definitely do that and put that towards an upgrade for your other stuff that you may want to put in there. Take that money and reallocate it. You don't have to make this a cookie cutter build, that's for sure, and I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, well, I wouldn't have done that. So anyways, guys, like I said, if there's something you could do differently that you would want to do differently, I'd say go for it.